Meet your new go-to for a fresh and inclusive approach to health.
Wellness Rebranded is the pod where a dietitian, a personal trainer, and a mental health therapist combine perspectives to help you redesign your relationship with food, fitness, and your feelings.
Whether we're serving up juicy stories, breaking down the latest research, or dropping practical tips, we'll leave you informed, inspired, and ready to take health-promoting action.
We get you because we are you.
We've joined forces because we know that health isn't one-dimensional, and neither are you.
Tune in for real talk that cuts through the wellness and diet culture hype. Stay for the laughs, the insights, and the feel-good vibes.
Guys, we are so excited because our podcast is almost at 100 episodes. We cannot believe it. And we are doing a huge giveaway to celebrate. So to enter, guys, here's what you're going to do. You're going to share a screenshot or an episode of the podcast and tag us on social media. Or you can leave a review of us on Apple Podcasts and then take a screenshot of it and send it to us. That way we can enter you in the giveaway. And guys, be so excited because we are giving away a free workshop with Maria Winters in your very own community. So you get to choose when and where and what Maria talks about.
Although it may be virtual.
It might be. We are also giving away a spot in Elizabeth's next group coaching program, which is all focused on emotional eating. And we are giving away one of my ultimate fitness assessments with follow-up personal training sessions, either in person or virtually. So you could win a lot of awesome stuff to help you on your wellness journey. Share our podcast, help us double our downloads by the end of the year, and you could win a lot of stuff.
Welcome back to another episode of Wellness Rebranded. I'm Elizabeth here with Tara and Maria. And
For a change.
Yes. And Maria, you had something you wanted to get off your chest today.
Oh, we're just going to jump right in.
Yes.
Okay, so what did I say? It's about me naked.
Yes. What do you want us to know about you being naked? So many things, maybe.
But me naked in front of the mirror.
So funny. That's what you should do. We really wanted to chat about your inner voice when you're naked.
Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I have tears coming out of my eyes. Hold on. Okay, deep breath. All right, so.
Welcome to Wellness Rebranded, the podcast
Again.
where we ease into sensitive conversations.
Okay, so yesterday I went with my mom shopping, right? And she was shopping around. I found these pants and I'm like, well, while I wait, let me try them on. So I took my clothes off. I mean, really just from the waist down because and I realized I spent maybe really like 10 minutes just looking at myself in the mirror and criticizing every little thing I saw on that mirror, right? I'm talking about, my flabby is the word, my flabby butt. I'm talking about maybe the hanging of the arms, because even if I was still with a shirt, I went all in. I'm like, if I'm criticizing my legs and my butt, let me criticize, that my hair was not.
If I'm criticizing, I might as well keep going.
Yes, I might as well go all
Commit
the
to
way.
it.
Yeah. Go all the way, Maria. Support that inner critic.
And of course, it doesn't feel good, but it made me wonder. I'm like, I knew I was coming today to record with you guys, and I want to know if I'm the only one. And I know I'm not. And not necessarily we do it all the time, but I do many times I'm in front of the mirror.
Yeah.
Even if it's one little one, because yesterday I just shredded myself, right? But sometimes it's just a one little thought that walks by like, ooh, big legs, or hey, whatever it is, right? Look at the wrinkles, whatever it is that I see in that mirror, that inner critic creeps in, right? And it's not good. And it's easy to go down that slide nonstop, water and everything, a water
And also
slide.
to believe it, right?
Yeah.
Thoughts aren't facts, but as soon as we start thinking that, we treat it as though it's facts.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like crap, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you don't even want to buy the pants or buy anything, or you're just thinking, I mean, I'm doomed. Like I'm just an ugly human being. And that's not good.
Yeah, so you were asking Tara and I, does this happen to us? And we both said a resounding yes, of course,
All the
right?
time.
often we look in the mirror and don't like what we see.
And here's the thing, some people might think, I mean, maybe, wow, but how can you be a therapist and think all this and still go through all this or still have workshops about self-esteem but you haven't conquered? No, because it's not about not doing it ever or having the perfect life. It's about having the tools that I recognized that was something that I was doing, put a stop to it, talk about it with you guys today, bring it on an episode, and remind myself of these tools that I have to deal with that. The point here is that it's gonna come. It's human to sometimes feel not as confident or criticize ourselves. The trick, I think, is just to catch on that and then change it, work on it.
I agree. And something I talk a lot about with my clients when we're talking about body image is you're in a relationship with your body.
Mhm.
And so, like any relationship, there are going to be ups and downs,
Yeah.
and that is normal. And it is an unattainable goal for nearly everyone to think that you're going to wake up in the world we live in and love everything about your body every day, all the
Right.
time. It's just not realistic. It's not going to happen. And you don't have to get there to have a healthy body image, right? I think you can have a healthy body image and still experience those negative thoughts or self-criticism, but it's what you do with it when it happens. Does it derail your whole day
Right.
and set you down the path of restrictive dieting and punishing and over-exercising, being mean to yourself or disordered eating or whatever, however you want to kind of frame it? Or does it happen and you're able to sort of love yourself through that moment, recognize it was a hard morning, hard incident,
Mhm.
and then get your skills to kind of go on your way?
We want to let you know about FX Physical Therapy. They have different locations throughout Maryland.
We recently had them on the podcast and they told us a little bit about their HER program, Health Empowerment Recovery, where they offer loads of free resources on women's health to the community. And that includes their physical and online community.
FX Physical Therapy offers therapy services for the pelvic floor, for women's performance, treatment plans for athletes, and even postpartum therapy. So if you have any physical therapy needs and you're in the state of Maryland, we definitely recommend checking them out. So I have like a little thing that I kind of do. I wouldn't even call it like a trick or a tip or whatever, but so I have negative body image days from time to time. And I've noticed that usually it's because of some sort of outside trigger. Sometimes I'll look in the mirror and just be like, oh, for heaven's sakes. But also, like, it's usually something outside that makes me start thinking about it. But there are things about my body that I really love also. For example, I have like a killer manicure right now. But I've gotten like mad compliments on these nails for the past week. So something that I do is when I notice something I don't love, I will also go, but remember your nails look amazing. Or like I try to find something that I really am happy with, right? Like I have gorgeous eyes or my hair color is insane, like something that just reminds me like, yeah, okay, so you're not super happy with like your belly, but also like, look at how amazing your eyes are.
Yeah, or even better, could you separate it from how you look at all?
Yes.
So that your sense of self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth isn't coming from your appearance. But yeah, maybe I don't like anything about the way I look right now, but I know that I'm a good person, I'm a kind person, my life has
I'm smart.
this meaning over
I'm
here.
a bit smart. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a great mental health therapist or, whatever, but being able to separate entirely from viewing our bodies as ornaments and more as instruments.
And reducing yourself to that, because at that moment I reduced myself to what I was seeing in that. And not only, like you said, not all I was seeing, because I do love my hair color. I do love other things, but in that moment it's like the flabby butt.
So I had a post on Instagram recently that I feel like kind of applies to this, where I had a client, the basis for this is I had a client come to me and she was like super bummed with how her body looked. And I was telling her, I was like, dude, think about all the cool things your body has done. And then in my post on Instagram, I like listed out like 3 minutes of things that my body has done.
It was awesome.
Things like as simple as like made a bunch of meals over the course of my life, or
made a human,
birthed a baby, or like fed that baby food that my own body made, which is gross when you say it like that, but like super cool. You know, like I just listed all these things. So anytime that I feel like really kind of like less than thrilled with my body or my body image or certain parts of my body or whatever, I kind of reflect on like what my body has allowed me to do in life. And it's really easy to be like, you know what, actually I am a badass. So if I'm a badass with a little belly, like that, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have the tools to change that narrative in your brain right off the bat and go to the positive thinking right away, also offering yourself grace and compassion. Like, yes, I'm having a moment.
Yeah, I think that's
And
so
we all
important.
have these
Yeah.
moments because sometimes we want to rush into fixing it. I didn't fix it right away. I left that dressing room and I'm like, oh, a little down. And then I'm like, okay, I'm having, because now I can recognize those moments. I couldn't before. Okay, I'm having one of those moments. Let me take a deep breath. Let me go for a walk. Let me just, let it be for a minute.
Yeah.
And then most likely that wave is gonna pass because those waves pass.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you start over.
Yeah.
And
You know
maybe
what
you
I
go
like,
to another
Maria?
mirror and you do something, but give yourself the chance to just, yeah, it sucks. And I just had one of those moments, and that's okay too.
I like that you bought the pants.
I did buy the pants.
Like I feel like that
Yes.
says something.
Look at my butt. Like it looks very,
looks
looks
great.
nice, right?
You got a butt.
I know.
We all got one.
I know. I ended up buying the pants. Yes.
The pants are cute.
They are cute.
But something you said reminded me just last night, ironically, we weren't necessarily planning on doing this episode today, but I hosted a workshop on navigating summer body image. And
That's right.
I was sharing with people from my perspective, body image healing is definitely not about fixing your body, but it's about learning how to be with your body compassionately and respectfully. And so that idea of, yeah, you felt that way when you were in the store yesterday, and there isn't necessarily an immediate fix for that, right? Sometimes or often the fix is, let me just start by offering myself compassion and love right now.
Yes.
Like getting myself through this difficult moment. That actually
Yes,
is body image
exactly.
healing in action,
Mhm.
recognizing there's not necessarily something you have to change, certainly about your body, but also, you can heal your thoughts, your feelings, perceptions of your body, but also as in, if not more important, just taking care of yourself through that hard moment.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. And the tools that you gain are going to help you be prepared for when that moment comes again, another similar moment, because I think it's natural and normal and human that these moments come in and out. Maybe with time, they're going to creep in less.
Yeah.
But
and
also
less intensely.
and less intensely. And then with time, you also have tools to deal with those moments when before
Absolutely.
they lasted longer and you really just decided to go to bed and with your sheets up to your neck for 3 hours. Maybe now you don't. You just keep going. So it's a process, a healing process too,
Yeah, and it does take time.
with the same body, like
And
you said,
grace.
because I don't think my body's gonna get. I mean, it could tight and tight, super tight. That's the other point. Is are the expectations that we're having? Still deep inside, I have the expectation that my body should look a certain way. I should have a really tight butt so I could use like a what is the name of the bathing suit that goes
The
inside
thong.
the thong, okay? Where is that coming from? Or I should have these super
Yeah, who says you
muscular
should have
arms.
that?
I don't know.
Mhm.
And then if you don't, then it's not okay. It's like that all or nothing
Well, and
thing.
it's an important part of the body image conversation is recognizing that the cultural and societal pressures and expectations. And unfortunately, we live in a world where bodies are placed on a hierarchy, whether it's because of weight, shape, size, age, gender, race, whatever it is. That's the book, The Body's Not an Apology by, oh my gosh, I cannot remember her name at the moment, but it's a fabulous book that talks all about that. It's really very eye-opening. But like that's a social construct. It's not necessarily a hard and fast truth, right? Who decided that the thin ideal is the ideal,
Right.
right? That's made up, really.
Completely made up.
Mhm.
Yes.
And we see it reiterated like all throughout pop culture,
Everywhere.
calling this this episode, Naked in the Mirror, immediately made me think of a song by Nelly, who is my favorite artist ever. Nelly and Pink are my top two, guys. And Nelly does a song called Hot in Here, which you guys probably remember if you're like millennials.
See, come into this tiny podcast room.
I don't know that song. Sing
I don't
it.
either.
What? You guys don't know this song?
No.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I do, but I don't
It's
know it by
getting
name.
hot in here. So
Oh.
take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. I want
No,
to
I
take my
don't know that
clothes
song.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a line in there where he's
Nice
like,
name.
Elizabeth
Thank
doesn't
you.
party, she can know that song.
I think Elizabeth
The
parties
boring
more
one.
than both of us.
It's sort of a secret because, I don't know.
After the
She says
episode,
no,
remind me to
again.
tell you all the famous people she knows. But anyway,
Not through partying, maybe like a very boring dinner, maybe.
I'm laughing because that's true.
I was wondering if you were going to say that or not.
Okay, now
So,
we're back.
There's a line in the song that says, checking your reflection and telling your best friend, like, girl, I think my butt's getting big, you know? And it's like, man, that was back in like the 90s or early 2000s. And we were talking about looking at yourself in the mirror and being dissatisfied with what you're seeing, right? Like, this is just a tale of
I mean,
its
long
time,
before
man.
then, people were talking about it,
For
sadly.
sure, for sure.
And I think also it's really like in and of itself, bodies are neutral, right? A body is just a body. It's the meaning that we are attaching
Yes.
to a certain whatever it is we're seeing. It's the meaning that we're attaching to it that's causing the distress. And so if we can unhook the meaning from the what is, that's another part of the work. It's about having the perspective of
Okay,
you can't experience life without your body. And
Yeah.
that is gonna look different for everybody because it's important to recognize when we're talking about body image that we all have our own individual body experience. Your body has a story that is very unique and individual to you. It's the experiences that you've had. It's any medical conditions that you might have. If you've experienced any type of trauma. And I think I point that out just to share body image is complex. There are a lot of factors. We also all carry our family legacies in our DNA, right? I mean, genes get turned on and off according to specific, things that our ancestors experienced that get passed down to offspring. There are just a lot of factors that go into your amazing body and also your experience in your body. And then of course, there's all the outside external pressures, social constructs, the hierarchy, people in marginalized identities. It's even more complicated and complex. And so I think it's important to A, just know that, but B, also to say, you're human, right? And that's a lot. Those things are a lot. So if you struggle with your body image or you have a bad day, like it's okay. It's normal. It's part of the human experience.
Yes, and yes, yes. So all this to say, next time, ladies out there.
So Maria, but I do think it would be helpful to share some tips for turning that inner critic around in the moment. So when you're standing naked and afraid, I keep wanting to say that because of that dumb show. When you're standing naked and alone in front of the mirror and that self-talk crops up, first off, you have to notice it, right? Notice that inner critic is rearing its head
Pay
and that
attention, yes.
it's not kind, it's not necessarily true, it's not necessarily helpful, right? So notice it. And sometimes I think with any type of inner critic, right? It may be you're so accustomed to, or that inner critic is such a part of you, you don't even realize that you can shift that narrative. So notice, that's step one. And then I think to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, you may not be able to go from this negative, really terrible things that you're saying to yourself all the way to positive, but could you get to neutral? Right? So neutral might be instead of, oh my gosh, whatever the thing is you're saying about your stomach and it's got rolls and flabs or this or that. Can you just say, this is my stomach? This is my stomach, just neutral. And it allows me to digest food or it allows me to birth a baby or whatever you want to, it's just a neutral fact. Or you can notice that it's rearing its ugly head and just say, this isn't kind and I'm going to stop doing it.
I was
And then
gonna
just
say that,
pivot
yeah.
to something else
Mhm.
entirely.
Yes.
But I'm curious what other tips you share for taming that inner critic.
I think those make perfect sense. I've learned to respond to myself. It's like a kinder version creeps in as well and say, well, hold on 1 minute. Like like you said, like maybe let's put a stop on this. Like I don't feed it as maybe I would have fed it years ago before I started my work on my self-image. So I like those three. Is it encompasses what we've been talking about, is acknowledging that it's a normal process, that you're going to have them and they're going to come in and out, and then offer yourself grace, but also respond. Don't let it become this snowball, because then it's harder to come out of it. And it's a practice, like everything. It's not expected the first times that you see yourself in the mirror and talk yourself that way, but it's a practice, and the more you do it, your brain automatically is gonna start changing the narrative of the things that we've been believing, and again, are not true, the whole truth, they're not.
Yeah, and also there may be a point, depending where you are in your body image healing journey, well, maybe you just don't look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's an okay part of the early on, is whatever you need to do to protect yourself and experience safety in your body. Start
Yeah,
there.
as long as that doesn't enable the feeling even more, right? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you want to tackle things head on, those things that bring
Mhm.
anxiety or worry, or because of, at the end, maybe avoiding it sometimes, but it depends on each person, right? So, but that's an option too, if you think that's beneficial for you, meaning the person listening.
Which is
So-
why it's so helpful to get support, professional support.
Yeah.
If specifically if you are really struggling with your relationship with your body, professional support with a mental health therapist or someone who, a food and body image healer, because they can help you figure out where you are in the journey and what will help you feel that safety and what the healing could look like.
Mhm. And information, because when you get information, maybe there are more tips. I'm sure there are more tips out there, and then you read something that resonates with you and you want to try. And for us women, it is okay to talk about these things, because many times we think we're alone. I could have come today and not say anything and just, grieve my
important.
flabby butt on my own. But I came.
There's
after
nothing wrong with flabby butts either.
Nothing wrong. There's mine, and now I'm gonna learn to love it. But even bringing that up is normalizing something, and then you feel less alone, and you can even exchange tips with other people,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah, how do
normalizes
you
it
get through
too.
that moment?
Yes.
And also just a little, I feel like I should say, you don't have to learn to love it, but you could learn to accept it.
Right. No, I'm gonna love it.
I mean, if you
I'm
can,
gonna
that's
still wear my
awesome.
thumb. Not
But for
really,
some
but
people, that feels really, really, really far away.
that's true.
So
Yes.
moving towards acceptance
Move
is
towards
total-
anything that is not hated.
that makes you feel better.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
so this was a good, very unplanned,
Unscripted.
I mean, they're all unscripted, but this one was especially unscripted episode of Wellness Rebranded.
Yeah.
If you want support in your body image journey, I invite you to reach out to me. This is a big part of the work that I do.
Yeah.
And if you want a workshop around it, or self-esteem, self-confidence, Maria is certainly available and
willing.
yeah. And Tara, there's a whole chapter on body image in the Hot Mess to Hot Mom book, right?
True.
That you wrote.
Yep.
We have so many resources for you guys. We will link them all in the show notes, but know that we're here. You can connect with us on Instagram. We have lots of free resources, lots of other resources, ways to work with us. So tell us what you need. We'll help point you in the direction that might be helpful for you.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Hey guys, it's Tara, and I know the world is pretty stressful sometimes, so I have created a special class. It's an hour-long progressive relaxation. So for those of you that have been listening to the pod for a long time, I did a special episode of this about a year ago, episode 59, but I'm going to be having a class in person in Annapolis on September 11th at 6:30 p.m. And it's also available virtually. So if you don't live local to Annapolis, Maryland, no worries. You can still register. We'll do it on Zoom. Sometimes it's even better that way because you'll get to just lay there in the comfort of your own home and relax with us. And I'll take you through a guided progressive relaxation, meditation, visualization, and you are guaranteed to leave the class feeling better than when you got there. So if you want to join me for that, the link is in the show notes to register, and I hope I'll see you there.
Thank you for listening. If you want to connect with me outside of this podcast, you can find me on Instagram at coaching_therapist.
I'm Elizabeth. You can find me at Elizabeth Harris Nutrition or in my Facebook group, Health and Healing with Intuitive Eating.
And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Tara DeLeon Fitness. Guys, if you loved this episode or any of our other episodes, we would love it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcast. It really, really helps us get the non-diet word out to the rest of the world. So please leave us a review.
Yes, thank you.